Hey y'all, welcome to another video of Mom Rain. Mom Rain University Confessions of a Pissed Off Parent. It has been about, sorry y'all, it's been like 3 weeks since I've done a video. My schedule has been all over the place. I apologize. And my hair is jacked. But you know what? It is my first day off in like forever. So I really don't care. I don't give a shit. It is what it is. The mommies out there, y'all understand. When you just don't feel like doing nothing, I'm doing nothing. Anyway. Alright, so listen. I got a gripe with some of you mofos, okay? So, I've been hearing a lot of jokes being thrown around about moms with multiple children. But not just moms with multiple children, moms who have multiple children with multiple guys. So, first and foremost, let me get you to understand something, okay? It is one of those bullshit ass double standard catch-22 bullshit ass things where y'all want to talk shit about women with multiple baby daddies. I fucking hate that term, by the way. Baby daddies and baby mamas, I hate that shit. But a lot of y'all guys out here, I don't give a shit if you white, black, brown, yellow, orange, purple, green, it don't fucking matter. A lot of y'all motherfuckers out here got multiple kids by multiple women and think that your shit don't stink. Okay? No. That's not the way that's gonna work. Nope. Because, let me get y'all to understand something. I got some air freshener for y'all. Your shit stank. Okay? And for a lot of you single motherfuckers that's making these jokes, I want you to understand something as well. Your situation could very well end up being the same way. Okay? I can't speak for other people. I can't speak for other mothers. I can't even speak for the other fathers. But for me, that's not how shit went down. I am not a hoe. Maybe in my teenage years. But I am not a hoe. I have been in a one-man relationship for the last damn near 9 years, okay? And I have no complaints. We have 2 children together. Okay, so listen, let me break down my situation, okay? This is what it is. I'm tell you this is what it is. So there won't be any misconceptions, you won't misconstrue anything, okay? My situation, I had my very first kid at 17, okay? I was head over heels in love. Puppy love at 17. With the guy that I had met on my way home. I was at the bus stop. It was like 10 o'clock at night. Of course, 17, I had a curfew. Now, I was rebellious. So, I didn't really respect the curfew. Okay? I didn't respect it. However, I was at the bus stop. I was trying to make it home. Of course, I wasn't going to make it home on time. I knew that. I knew I was pretty much done. I knew when I got home, my mom was going to have my ass. However, he came and saved the day. He picked me up from the bus stop. He took me home. Young and fucking dumb, getting in the car with a stranger. Of course, anything could have happened. It's even worse nowadays. I am now weeks shy of being 33 years old. That was 16 years ago. It was a little safer back then. I'm not going to say it was completely safe, but it was a little safer back then than what it is now. By the grace of God, he wasn't that type of guy. But he did give me a ride home. And we talked and all of that, connected and all that shit. As he dropped me off at home. And I think I was like 10, maybe 15 minutes late. Curfew. But, it was definitely worth the ride. However, nothing happened. Y'all nasty. Nothing happened. At least not that night. Nothing happened. Ultimately, he was a good guy. Until. But, we talked a few more times after that. He actually took me out on a date. Few dates. And, we got to know each other. Now, fast forward. pregnant with my son at 17. He never came to see me in the hospital. Shit just went south from there. I even stayed with him a little bit while I was pregnant. But then, bullshit. Men. That shit. Anyway, I ended up having my son. Well, my water broke like 3 months early, almost 4 months early. I was in the hospital for like a month. He never came to see me, never called. Gave birth to my son via emergency C-section. I was stressed out when I was pregnant. I was 17. I had just graduated high school. I had no car, no job. I was living with my mom. My mom was not working at that time. So her emotional and mental state of mind, that kind of aided to a lot of my stress because I knew she was stressed out. And then for me, her 17-year-old daughter to be pregnant, bringing another child into the world and into, that situation, I know that wasn't easy for her. Yeah. On top of the fact that, I was head over heels in puppy love with this guy. Eventually I did love him. Later. And then, he broke my heart though. Anyway, had my son. Unfortunately, my baby didn't make it. They ended up putting me to sleep. And I remember the day like it was yesterday. I was here at one of the fucking worst hospitals here in Columbus, Ohio. They didn't know shit about, preterm labor, and I had preeclampsia. What's called preeclampsia and toxemia. And, basically your body rejects your pregnancy. Your blood pressure skyrockets. You get protein, in your urine. They have to monitor you. And the only way to get rid of it is to deliver the baby. My water had broken, so I was on complete bed rest from October 3rd all the way to, I think, like October 29th, October 30th. Yeah, it's like October. It was the day before Halloween. I was miserable. Only one of my friends, who was actually a friend at the time, came to see me. She came to see me like twice. My godmother at the time. My mom, of course, and my aunt. Those are the only ones that came to see me. My grandmother came to see me after I had my son. She lived in Cleveland. So, of course, I understood she couldn't come see me every day. Still lives in Cleveland. But yeah. October 26th, and y'all gotta excuse me if I start crying, because even after 16 years, it is a very, very sensitive subject for me. But I know that my story will and can, help somebody else out there going through the same situation. So, yeah, October 26th of 2004. I said 2014. It's 2004. October 26th, 2004 was literally one of the worst days of my life. Here come the tears. I woke up at like 5 a.m. that morning. And even though I had been in that bed at that point for like 23 days, something just felt off about that day. So, I was just like, well, shrug it off. It's just me being anxious, depressed, tired of being in that bed. Couldn't get out and walk. I couldn't even get up and go to the bathroom by myself. Like, I literally had to use a bedpan. That's how bad it was. Nurses, I pretty much got to know all of the nurses that were there. And, they all knew me. I was there for a month. So, they definitely tried to do everything that they could to make my stay there less fucked up. But I mean, come on. I was 17. I had just graduated high school, a year ahead of my class, mind you. I should have been working. I should have been in school. I should have been doing anything but having my happy-go-lucky ass laid up in the hospital bed. But that was my life at that time. That was my reality. They sent me massage therapists. I had nurses come in there bringing nail polish from home, giving me manicures and pedicures. They would talk to me. They would come play video games with me, the ones you used to be able to hook up to the TV and play Pac-Man and Frog and all that. And I even had nurses come in there on their days off just to come sit with me and talk to me. But it wasn't enough. It's never enough, although grateful for it. It's never enough when the person that you really want to be there is not there. And my mom, I love my mom to pieces. I swear I do. I love that woman. I do. My mom has always kind of been like emotionally disconnected to certain things. And I just felt like that was one of those situations where she was kind of emotionally disconnected, not because she was cold or mean, but because she wasn't quite sure how to handle that situation with me or for me. So, sorry y'all. So it was definitely hard. And then she couldn't be there every day. She had to go home and rest. She had to sleep. She had to make sure, bills were paid. I can, get out the hospital and have a place to come home to. And, I put myself in that situation, so I didn't expect her to be full in, even though she was, to an extent. But yeah, that day is like a day that is burned into my brain for all eternity. And it doesn't matter how happy I am. It doesn't matter how well I do in life. It doesn't matter what I go through. It doesn't matter how hard or how much I try to forget, which essentially I don't want to. That's a day that I don't want to say it haunts me, because it doesn't haunt me. It's a constant reminder that A, he existed, B, of his dad, and then C, that life is really, really short. But anyway, that day, woke up, felt off. Come 7 a.m., they did the shift change. After shift change, that's when shit got real. Like, really, really fucking real. I sat up, ate breakfast, feeling okay. And then it's like, how even though you've been inside of a room for like days or hours, all of a sudden, if you're sitting up from a laying down position, all of a sudden shit just looks different. It looks weird. And that was definitely one of those situations, and I just knew that day was not going to be a good day for me. Well, it was going to be worse than the other previous 23 days I already spent there. Being poked and prodded and invaded and all of that stuff. I had never felt so violated in my life. But yeah, I sat up, I ate breakfast. After I ate breakfast, I had the worst fucking cramps I'd ever had in my life. And it was contractions. And of course, me being 17, I was not completely educated on what it was. And then I figured it out. Oh shit, these are contractions, and the shit was coming fast. So my son, although my water was broken, he was still breech. And he was still very, very premature. His lungs were not completely developed. He was, his chances of survival outside of the womb, had I been in the right fucking hospital, 9.5 times out of 10 would have been greater than what they were. But unfortunately, didn't happen. So they prepped me for surgery. Damn, contractions kicked my ass. They did. yeah, they prepped me for surgery, and before I knew it, I was on the operating table in the emergency room in labor and delivery. Before I knew really fully what the fuck was going on or what to expect, I was being put to sleep. I was too far into contractions for them to give me any type of epidural or anesthesia, or I'm sorry, general anesthetic, for me to be awake during the C-section. So I didn't even get to hear my baby cry when he was first born. And I think that's the second part that kind of fucks me up the most. I might have to take my glasses off, y'all. But yeah, next thing I know, I woke up to literally dead silence. I was awake, but I couldn't even open my eyes. I heard my mom sitting next to me. She was talking to the nurse. It was kind of inaudible at first. And then I heard my mom ask, "What about the baby?" And then I heard the nurse say, "He's probably not going to make it." And what's fucked up is it was so cold. It was so cold. It was like routine to her. Like, it didn't matter. So, I had wished with every fiber of my being that I was dreaming and that it was a nightmare. But typically when you're under, you don't dream. So I've heard. But, finally was able to open my eyes, and when I did, I was wheeled into a room where my son was. He was laying on, the baby bed. He was hooked up to a ventilator, and it was a manual ventilator. So basically they had to pump the air into him. He was not breathing on his own. They said he let out the loudest cry when he first came out. And at that point, it was pretty much the tail end of his lifespan. So I was under for 2 hours and 44 minutes. My son lived for 2 hours and 46 minutes. So I was only able to spend 2 minutes of my son's life with him. They placed him in my arms and told me that he wouldn't make it to Children's Hospital to be saved. So they let me hold him as they took him off of the ventilator, and he took his last breaths in my arms. And I remember crying so hard. Oh my God. I remember crying so hard. I cried so hard. I had the doctors crying, the anesthesiologist crying, the surgeon crying, the nurses crying. Even the one who said that he wouldn't make it so coldly, she was bawling so hard she had to leave the room. My mom was crying, and my mom is not a crier. My aunt was crying. They were in the room with me, and here I am, 17 years old, with my very firstborn baby in my hands, and he was gone. And that fucked me up. It fucked me up. And I didn't realize it then, but I had a choice on whether I allowed it to completely fuck me up mentally and emotionally, or to heal from it. And it got crazy after that. Like, they put me in the step down unit after my surgery. Mind you, at this point, I was pregnant. I walked into a hospital pregnant, and I'm about to walk out not only with a C-section scar, but I'm about to walk out empty-handed. I was feeling so many different types of fucking emotions at that point. I didn't know what to do. I was in denial. I went through all of the stages of grief in like 3 days. Denial, anger, regret. I went through it all. Like, I would wake up telling them that I had to feed my son. Because of course I just had a baby. My body thinks I just delivered a healthy baby. So of course I was lactating, can't stop. I mean, could with drugs, but I couldn't stop that. They didn't give me anything to stop it. And my breasts were lactating. I was leaking milk literally daily. And I wanted so bad to have him that I lost it. I fucking lost it. And it hurt. I didn't have any other way to express that pain. And as you can see, it still hurts. Because even with the 6 that I had, and then my stepkids, who essentially are my kids, it doesn't replace, they don't replace him. And they were never meant to. They're their own unique individuals. They're their own unique selves. And that's what I love about them. However, after that, I went home the day before Halloween, and I couldn't even tell you what life was for. But I vowed that day that I would have a family, and that I would have a large family. I would settle down, and we would have as many kids as we could have, and that would be my life. So my daughter's dad, my oldest daughter, who's now 13, I got with her dad 2 years later, 2006, thinking he was going to be it. He was going to be my husband. We were going to get married. We were going to do this. We were going to do that. We were going to have kids. After we were all good up until I got pregnant with her. When I got pregnant with her, he was just absent. He was all over the place. He was doing shit he had no business doing. He was sabotaging jobs. It was a mess. Jesus, it was a mess. And then when I had her, it was even worse. So I'm like, all right, well, you know what? Fuck this shit. I don't have time for that. Even now, he's an absent father. So what the fuck does that tell you? Then, I think a year later, 2 years later, I had already known him. But I ended up, dating my twins and my second oldest son, their dad. And that was 5 years of the second worst time in my life. Mental, emotional, and physical abuse, depression, and oh my God. And I dated him for about 2.5, 3 years maybe before I got pregnant with the twins. When I got pregnant with the twins, it was actually after I had them. He was at every doctor's appointment when I was pregnant with them. And then when I had them, oh man, that shit changed. And I didn't pay attention to the red flags because he has an older daughter. And his mama always got her. Even now, that girl's damn near grown, and his mama always got her. Always. It didn't dawn on me then that he never really held any type of responsible weight for her. Financially, mentally, emotionally. If anything, he aided to any negative affliction that she has. My children as well. So after I had the twins, he became one of those emotionally, mentally absent physical fathers. So basically he was there, but he wasn't good for shit but taking up space. Because he didn't do shit. What's the point? Even now, what's the point? It's so many hands in the pot when it comes to the situation. But that is a completely different video. Anyway, yeah, and I thought that was going to be forever. And that was 5 years of torment. I can't even say full 5 years. I'd say 2.5, 3 years of torment. Um, Now, uh, my hubby that I'm with now, we've been together for damn near 9 years. And it's not always been easy. We have had our high highs, and dark valley lows. We have been through hell and back 20 times over, through the thickest of thick, and swam through the thin. However, this right here has been a breeze compared to the other situations. And those were supposed to be long term. But we have two together. A son and a daughter. And we're set to marry in June of 2020. Yay! But yeah, it's never. My point is never judge a man, a woman, a mother, a father's situation on how and why they have multiple kids with multiple partners, because you don't know what the fuck they've been through. You don't know their story. You only know, and really you don't even know the cover. You don't know how it was colored, why it's drawn outside of the lines, or why it's not completely filled within. To know and understand why certain things happen the way that they do. And I think that's definitely a downfall of people in general, is that we're quick to judge and point fingers and try to take a broom and clean up, everybody else's closet in their house, but won't be as quick to try to clean up our own. It's not for everybody to understand. True enough, is your story is definitely not for everyone to understand. It's more so for your own healing benefit, and happiness. However, if you're going to share your story, make sure that people understand why this happened, why that happened, how it happened. You know what I mean? It's not even necessarily the whens and wheres, but the hows, whats, and whys are what's most important. And for a woman who has 6 children with 3 different fathers, and I only have one dumbass who gives me baby daddy drama. I fucking hate that word. And even then, it's not even because a small portion of it is because I've moved on. However, the other portion of it is due to his own insecurities, his own mental dis-ease, his own emotional dis-ease. You can't force people to do what you want them or do what you don't want them to do. Unfortunately, people operate in a way that doesn't have a manual. And unfortunately, it doesn't always require you to get behind the wheel and work the buttons. Sometimes you just gotta let the shit automate and go on and do what you do and let them self-destruct. Sometimes it just is what it is, and he's definitely one of those people that I had to learn to walk away from and allow him to self-destruct. I was kind of hands-on and making sure that the bridge was gapped for him to continue having a relationship with his children that we have together. But unfortunately, people don't always establish relationships with their children for good cause. They do it for a reason. They use their babies, essentially. And, one thing I'll never stand for is somebody using my kids. But as Mama Bear, I'll fight to the death when it comes to my mommies out there, even my daddies out there who have multiple children. I don't give a shit if you got one baby daddy or if you got 10. I will always advocate for us because, one thing for sure in twice for certain is that we definitely have to stick together. It's just one of those situations where, you know, if you see a mommy in need, if you see, you know, I don't give a shit if it's a single dad. If you see a single dad who has his kids, he's taking care of his kids, and, you know, the mama's not around or she's only around part-time, whatever the case may be, definitely don't ever hesitate to lend a helping hand. I'm not saying put your neck on the line, because some people cray. Some people crazy as shit. They're absolutely fucking insane. So I would never say put yourself in danger. But I will say, if you have a feel for the situation and you know that this person is safe and that they're just having a hard time, please don't ever hesitate to do what you can. I don't give a shit if it's, you know, keeping their kids for a play date for a few hours and letting them get some peace of mind or some R&R, or be able to, you know, go to work and with a peace of mind, or, you know, helping that mom with, you know, a birthday party or cleaning up or whatever the case may be, especially my mommies with twins and triplets and quads and sextuplets. I feel for y'all. Baby, I have twins in this mix, okay? And listen, if y'all thought 2 and 3 kids was work, baby, you don't know nothing until you have twins in your mix with other children, okay? So I feel, I understand, we here, I get it. But at the end of the day, that's my gripe. So for all you mofos out there that's making jokes about us mamas and daddies with multiple kids, with multiple partners, please do me a motherfucking favor. Mind the motherfucking business that pays you. We don't sign your paychecks. Our kids don't have nothing to do with you. Our baby mamas and baby daddies, as much as I hate those derogatory ass terms, have nothing to do with you. Mind your business. At the end of the day, like I said, them tables could turn, baby. And when they do, don't want to hear nothing. Because then y'all going to be listening to these videos like, damn, she said it. And now I'm sitting here with 2 baby mamas. Or 2 baby daddies. I know, girl. Now to them other ones out there that's just opening up their legs to every time Dick, Harry, Leonard, Tyrone, Tyquell, and Quayshawn, I don't know what the fuck to tell you. Keep it closed and keep it cute, sis. And for all my homies that's out there sticking and moving, wrap it up. It's raining. Wrap that shit up. I love y'all though. Y'all be easy until next time. I promise it won't be 3 weeks until the next video. Like, share, and subscribe. I'll holla at y'all. I'm going to take a nap.